Hi, my name's Zara Kadir and I'm an adult counsellor and psychotherapist, as well as a child and adolescent therapist working with art and play therapy. I have a real interest in behavioural issues, and one of the things I get asked about most often is meltdowns. That's what most parents call them. So in my experience, meltdowns happen generally because of a transition when you're moving a child from one place to another, or sometimes they happen because needs and expectations aren't met. So if the child thought you were going to one place and actually it was somewhere else, can often be a real trigger for these meltdowns. In some cases, it can be a sign of something like a pathology such as autism spectrum disorder or oppositional defiance disorder. But more often than not, it's a behavioural issue that we can manage through therapy. So the reason therapy works for children with these kind of issues is because often those children struggle to contain themselves when they're at school. So all day at school they have to behave themselves and do as they're told, and they can kind of hold themselves together. But like anything, at some point we run out of stamina. So when your child gets home from school, often you, the parents or caregivers, will bear the brunt of this loss of stamina at the end of a long day. And that's often when we can see these meltdowns. So when a child comes to therapy, especially if it can be in the school day, it gives them that 1 hour where they don't have to be anything other than unequivocally themselves. And that, for most children, is a great, great freedom. One other thing that I like to do is parent support sessions. And these sessions are sometimes one-to-one between me and one parent or both. And sometimes the parents might come into the therapy sessions with the child. And the role I play in that scenario is slightly different to a therapist. I might be a kind of listening ear for the child to advocate for them. So I can explain to the parents what I think was going on for the child in that moment. And then the child can really feel heard. Sometimes we might do things where children and parents can play together, and through that play they can reattune and feel reconnected when they've had lots and lots of ruptures and problems at home. Another reason that play therapy works for children is that it allows them to process their feelings and experiences through play. So adults might go to a friend and say, I've had a really rough day and all of these horrible things happened, and I got stuck in a queue and then I was late and then I got a parking ticket, and they offload through speech. Whereas children don't necessarily have the vocabulary for their feelings. They don't know that they had a really hard day. So in play therapy, children might use puppets, and with the puppets might have a big argument. And that, to me, shows that they're struggling with conflict, and they feel that same relief that adults do when they speak to someone about it, but through playing instead. I can also offer parents strategies for how they can best manage the behaviour, because sometimes parents might take a punitive approach and punish children when they're having these meltdowns, when actually what they really need at the times when they're most unlovable is to be loved the most. And I can offer loads of strategies for how we can manage these big behavioural outbursts. One of my favourite tips that I'll give you for nothing is, instead of a time out or a naughty step, is a time in. So when your child is feeling really overwhelmed by big feelings, that's the time when you need to say, I can see you're feeling X, Y, Z, or I imagine I'd be feeling X, Y, Z. So let's go somewhere quietly together, and when you're ready, we can talk about it, or we can have a cuddle. So if you are worried about your child, or if you'd like some support and some strategies in how you can help your child best, then you can find me on the counselling directory, Zara Kadir, spelt Kadir, or my website, www.choose-therapy.co.uk. If I can work with you and I can work with your school, then we can make a really big change in your child's life, as well as working one-to-one with your child. Thank you.